All right, hello guys, welcome. Happy 4th of July weekend. Yes, we're a day early. Um, but we're ready to get this weekend kicked off with you. We're glad to do so. We got a lot of news this week, Jason. Well, a little bit, I
Yeah,
guess. I'm not gonna
a little bit more so
exaggerate.
than probably we were expecting.
Yeah, so of course, as you guys know, we're recording Wednesday, so we apologize for recording so early. It's just with me getting packed for a trip, with our busy schedules the back half of the week, this was the best day to
hmm
do it. So if we miss anything, we apologize. We'll talk about it next week. But anyway, let's get
Or
started.
we'll add it on our pages.
Or yeah, on our social media too. We got to be more active there, right? All right.
Yeah, in
But
some way.
all right, but yeah, coming up on the show today, we got some discussion on the new Mavs coach. We also got some of the latest on the conference finals. New Sabres head coach. The latest on the Stanley Cup. Then, of course, we got a legendary Bronco retiring. Um, a team in the NL East is on a tear right now. And then, of course, we wrap things up with Tinkle on this for the week. But again, a happy 4th of July. Let's get it kicked off. Um, so the Mavericks coaching staff, of course, we know Jason Kidd was hired to be the head coach. He's now bringing in some
hmm
familiar faces from 2011. JJ Barea was hired as the assistant coach Wednesday. Jason Terry is likely to be an assistant coach. Can this team find the success that they had in 2011 or do better?
Hmm. Um. Well, you can't really go any better than winning a championship,
Hmm.
but
Well, I mean, better
uh,
record.
uh,
Okay,
you
let's.
can only go up from here. The only way they can really go up is go from like 40 to 50 wins.
Hmm.
Um, I think it's gonna take some time for them to kind of find that same success. Not saying that they probably won't end up being a playoff team next year, but I think you're putting the right guys and the right pieces together as your assistant head coaches.
Hmm.
The only thing is I just don't like how Dirk's got to be a special advisor. I was really hoping he was going to be an assistant coach, if not the head coach, because I think he has a little bit more experience than Kid, even though I think they're around the same age. But I'm hoping that it all depends on what they can do in free agency. They got to go after the right pieces. And like we were discussing, not on here, but like we were discussing outside of the podcast, I would like for them to add some more offensive talent around
Hmm.
Luca. KP is almost an afterthought at this point. I know it sucks for him, but he's just too inconsistent for him to be a second superstar behind Luka Doncic. So if they can go after, like, I've been
Hmm.
seeing a lot of rumors about like a Toronto Raptors reunion with DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry. I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just if you bring them in, then what do you do with your bench? Do you send Josh Richardson and Tim Hardaway off the bench? Have Kyle Lowry as your point? Have Luca as like a small forward, and then have
Hmm.
DeMar DeRozan or Kyle Lowry as like those point guard, shooting guard tandem? To have Luca small forward, KP's power forward, and then maybe bring in a center. I mean, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I'd say it would be a better starting lineup than what they had last year, but you just need somebody to. I think I think they will do better. It just depends on who you're gonna go after. They have about 20 million in cap, Brian. So
Hmm.
if you have that kind of cap space, do you think it's a little bit of, oh, well, I think we can sign one of the top free agents, or do you think it's, well, Jason Kidd's there, he hasn't really had the best success. Do we kind of push away from that team, or
I don't know. I mean, you got the cap space. Why not use it? I mean, you've got kind of a leveraging point there, where it's you've got a good star on the team. Maybe bring in
Mm-hmm.
more stars, and maybe Jason Kidd can do a little better.
Mm-hmm.
But I just want to say, based on the coaching staff, this is a different game than it was 10 years ago. I'm not saying that they can't have success, but I'm saying how. I guess my biggest question in all of this is how are they going to adapt to the changing game? Because obviously, these guys, let's face it, after the 2011 championship, we didn't hear much from Jason Terry. The only thing. The
Yeah.
only thing you heard from Jason Terry was when LeBron dunked on him and he was on the ground. Okay,
Yep.
I'm
With
sorry, like
Boston.
that's the only thing you've heard from him. JJ Barea has kind of just bounced from team to team. He really wasn't able to adjust, I guess, in a way. Um,
I don't know if I would say that because he was still with the Dallas Mavericks a couple years back,
yeah,
so he knew how to play in the
true,
NBA of today and had some success. So
true, but I
that
just
that's
don't.
the one exception. Now Jason Terry, yeah, that's
Yeah, he
you
kind
don't know
of.
what kind of
I guess
you don't
it's.
know what kind
Can
of success he's
can we
gonna
be
have.
fair to say that that was really the last year of his prime? Probably.
Probably 2012.
I think you can argue that one of those years was definitely the end of his prime.
Yeah.
JJ was always kind of the off the bench guy from what I understand.
Hmm.
So, obviously he's not going to be the impact of the starters, you know, but hey, playing off the bench sometimes those guys do have a higher IQ. I think because,
Hmm.
they're mostly studying the notes. They're the team, the guys off the bench are the team that practice for the upcoming team. They're basically helping the starters get prepared for the game. Okay.
And I think the cool thing is with bringing them in, they know how to
Yeah.
bring a team together. They know how to play team basketball. I think that was the main reason why Jason
Yeah.
Kidd brought these guys in. He wanted this team to start
Hmm.
playing more like a team, which isn't a terrible thing.
Yeah.
Because Luca, from what I saw last year, he thought, well, I'm a superstar. I
But
can do it all by myself. No, you cannot do it all by yourself because when we see guys that think that they can do it all by themselves, they end up
yeah.
getting their butts kicked more than they actually help out the team.
Yeah.
Not saying that he hasn't been a hero and led the team and needed those kind of 40-point games. Not saying that wasn't appreciated, but like you have other guys, spread the wealth a little bit.
Mm,
Try to get your teammates, engaged and ready. Not saying, they had the greatest playoffs. That was a terrible playoff for them. To even take it to 7 games in the first place is something
yeah.
that amazes me still. But other than that, I think you're going to see a different dynamic to this team. Yes, it might be a little old school,
Hmm.
but I think the old school with a
I
new
think,
school type feel
yeah,
wouldn't be a bad thing to do for today's basketball.
you
So
just read my
I
mind.
think you're gonna see I think you're gonna see this team being a whole lot more team friendly and like spreading the wealth more than
Hmm.
they were the last few years.
The only thing, here's the thing, I wish him nothing but success. I really do. But here's my thing. Again, if I guess what's the mentality? Again, you mentioned the team aspect, but I guess what I have to say is, the only thing that might stop them is if they say this worked in 2011, it's going to work now. Okay,
Mm,
you know, the triangle offense Phil Jackson lived and died by. Okay, it didn't
hmm.
work. It didn't work beyond the Kobe years. Okay, because it was a different game than it was when Phil Jackson was winning rings. Um, you know, this is, I guess the big thing is can, some parts of the past be the past at the end of the day? Because if you come in here, you're saying if Jason Kidd and company come in and they start saying, well, this worked in 2011, we're going to make it work today, it's not going to translate totally over. That's where my concern is, especially with the with a young lineup. Nonetheless,
Mm,
okay, they've got to find essentially, and as a coach, I can vouch for this. You've got to find out what those skill sets are, and you need to figure out how to build around it. And that's where Jason Kidd and company need to kind of learn. And not to mention, they've got to learn to work again as a team. It's different working as a team on the court as it is working as a team on the bench. Okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely different because there's different roles. It's, I guess I want to see more. I think, the next, let's see, we got 4 months until the next season, more than likely, give or take. So I guess I want to see what this offseason is going to bring before I make any true judgment on this roster and what they're capable of. I think they've got the right idea, but again, they've got to leave some things in the past and kind of just look ahead. You can't be dwelling on what happened 10 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay.
I agree. All I can say is, I'm just going to say this last note. It's better for them to work inside and out instead of outside in. Because that's what they did a lot of, is outside, spread the ball, have floor spacers, and go outside in. You got to play more inside the paint and then go outside for an occasional three. I think if you see teams that do that, they have a lot more success doing it that way than being all 5 players playing outside and then do pick and roll type of inside offense. That's what Rick Carlisle liked to run a lot, is a pick and roll type of style offense. I think you're going to see a different style this time, or still the same kind of style, but see it more, we have these guys that can go inside. Because if you saw the NBA of how Rick Carlisle ran that offense in 2011 compared to now, he played inside out. I don't know what made him decide, now that the NBA is revolving more to the 3-point game, let's play outside in.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm leaving that at.
See, as a coach, again,
Tell you what,
you play to your strengths. That's what I was going to finish with. As a coach, you got to play to your strengths, not to what everyone else is doing. If everyone jumps off a bridge, would you do it? Okay, you can't jump off the bridge just because every other team is. But anyway, I think that's all we got for that one, right?
Yeah.
So let's move forward here. Giannis, a big injury. Maybe a big injury.
That looked. I didn't see it. I didn't see the game. I can't really say it too much, but from what I'm hearing, the picture I saw didn't look like it was very promising. He had to get held up and basically escorted to the locker room to get checked on. So hopefully it's not as bad as like Kawhi's injury is, and we'll have him out for too many games, because with him being out, I don't know if there's another guy that can step up on that team other than Chris Middleton, to be honest.
And,
they have Brook Lopez and stuff like that, but they just don't have this is not the same team. The Bucks, to get to how far they've gotten is shocking, because it's a Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo squad. And if you don't have both of them together, you're not going to be generating much offense at all. And I hate to say it, if Giannis is going to be out for the rest of the series, I can't go with the Bucks winning the series at all. I would have to go with the Hawks.
Yeah.
Yes, I get it. Trae Young is out. But the Hawks stepped up in a pivotal game to tie up the series in at least 4 or 6 games right now. So, like I said, right now with everything that's going on with that series, if you have Antetokounmpo out for an extended amount of time, I cannot give them the benefit of the doubt at all.
I can't either. I gotta say this, though. This has to be, and maybe you can agree with me, I'm just gonna talk in general here. This has to be the most brutal NBA playoffs I've ever seen in my life. I mean, we've had Derrick Rose tear his knee in the playoffs in a freak accident coming down from coming down the court. That's one thing. But I don't think I've ever seen a playoff. I mean, Chris Paul is out with COVID. Kawhi is out with injury. Now Giannis is out. Trae Young is out. there's teams playing without their stars. I mean, we know last year, I'm not even going to compare it to last year. Last year was a totally 100% different thing compared to this. But this, of all the regular playoffs that we've seen, non-COVID or non-like bubble playoffs, this has to be the most brutal because, to be honest, all the teams that are there are all missing a strong piece now to their roster.
Hence why LeBron has been saying what he's been saying about it.
Or correction,
is, like,
I forgot Chris Paul's back. So I'll have had.
Yes, Chris Paul.
So, sorry, I made a mistake. I just wanted to correct on that.
Yeah, it is a pretty brutal one, but like we said, you just got to have players that are going to step up in the moment. And the Hawks did it. And I'm trying to think. Oh, and the Clippers have been doing it.
Yeah.
The Clippers freaking they call them playoff P for a reason.
Yeah.
Because Paul George has just been stepping up in the moment. And that's why when we're going to go more into it,
I don't think they need Kawhi.
I hate to it's showing that Kawhi is not needed at all.
If you've ever seen the show Weakest Link, he's the weakest link. Goodbye. Sorry.
Yeah. The problem is like Kawhi, I don't know what's happened to him, but I don't know. I think he's going to be out. As far as going on with the playoffs, Phoenix up 3-2.
Phoenix may be the best
team. They close
team
out the series. It's tough to tell. The Clippers have been in these series way too often. If you get another playoff P type game, it's going to go 7 games. If you can get Chris Paul and Devin Booker to be like they have been, then yes, they will close it out. But if you get playoff P just going off like he did last game, you're going to even up the series. So, like I said, it's too close to. It is kind of too close to call. I'm making my prediction now, Brian, and you can agree or disagree with me. I'm going to say it's going to go 7 games.
I think both series are destined for that right now. But can I also just say as well, can we attribute the short off season to everything we're seeing right now?
Yeah, I think, you know how I was talking about LeBron? I think he was stating that the reason why there's been so many injuries is because of like no time off between seasons, which he's got a point, but like
he has a major point, and this is why
you gotta learn to adapt.
Yeah, but can I point out this is why a lot of players have opted out of the Olympics this season because they don't want to be on a short off. Because you go to the Olympics, you kiss your off season goodbye. Because when you come back, it's right back to training camp. Well, actually, I believe it's the 2-week quarantine and then training camp. But I don't know what the protocol is yet for the Olympics. And of course, we're going to be talking about that in a few weeks as well. So that should be fun. But anyway, let's move forward here. Of course, we actually kind of did move forward here. Phoenix, of course, up 3-2. They had a 3-1 lead. They lost the other night. You mentioned Paul George stepping up big. Which team? I guess, obviously right now, based on the health standpoint, the Suns are the best team left. But can they finish this off? Of course, they're playing tonight as we're talking.
Well,
I'm sorry, tonight as we're recording, I mean.
I was about to say, weren't we just talking about this? I know, like, going forward, like, what do you mean? Like, we were just talking about this. I said it's too close to tell. I said it's going to go to 7 games.
Yeah.
Because, it all depends on if Chris Paul and Devin Booker were going to show up or Paul George. And
sorry,
which team is a better stew for the NBA Finals?
Okay, sorry. Oh man.
Probably of the West, I would have to say the Suns. They've just
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
if you sweep at
Okay,
least
sorry. That's
one
what I was
team
going
on
for.
your road to trying to get to the finals, yeah, I would say you're the better team. The
Yeah.
Clippers kind of had it rougher than the Suns have on this road to the finals. Now the Suns are like, whoa, this is our first
See,
real true almost test,
yeah.
and it's giving us the most fits to get into there. So you might have to give the slight edge to the Clippers because they're giving teams fits, taking them to
I
six,
can
7 games just on the road to the finals. So I
I
don't know.
can
It's
I
tough
be
to tell.
honest? This is and you know I don't watch much NBA, but I gotta say, from everything I'm seeing, obviously I said this is the most brutal playoffs I've ever seen. This is by
Yeah.
far I just I'm looking at this, which is the better suitor for the NBA finals. I to be honest, on either side, I just don't know because either, all these teams have missing pieces or they're playing lights out and it's to be honest, I can't even make a solid prediction. I can't even tell you who I think could go at this point. This is what I'm this
Oh,
is
I
why
know.
this is actually what turns me on to watching the playoffs and whatnot
I
for
think
this
this is the first.
unpredictability.
I think this is the first playoffs in a while
Yeah.
that you
And
can't
again,
really truly predict who's going to be in the finals, and that's okay.
let's forget last year's. Okay, last year's was a one-time deal. Okay, so
Hmm.
I know you said that. I just wanted to clarify as well. Obviously, we know last season was, but last season was for a totally different reason because we came back after 3 months off. But now it's just unpredictable because all these teams are playing at such a high level. We all thought it was going to be Brooklyn and LA at the end of this. And now any team really could go and make a good impact. But anyway, let's move forward. Speaking of the Lakers, David Fitzdale was hired as Jason Kidd's replacement with the Lakers. Keep in mind, he's a familiar name to LeBron James. Of course, he was on Eric Spoelstra's coaching staff with the Big Three. And I'm
Right.
telling you, I like the looks of this. I know I said LeBron's the kind of guy who doesn't need much coaching, but man, this is a big, big out of the park hire for the Lakers.
It wouldn't shock me if Frank Vogel ever was to get fired if he didn't become the new head coach for the Lakers. But I do think that it spells good things. And the funny fact, LeBron just changed his number to 6. Coincidence? I think not.
We're gonna go right into the Illuminati stuff today. Pulling straight out of
Because
the Illuminati
first
bag.
off, first off, you change your number, then then like I just want to know if LeBron had any was talking into Frank Vogel's ear, like, hey, he's available. How about you go after him? Trust me, you go after him, good things are going to be coming to this Lakers team. So
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I wouldn't be shocked just because, again, I mean, look at it. When Fitzdale was with LeBron, you can argue had his greatest success in his career with the Big Three. And now, in a
yeah,
way, he might just have another Big Three this offseason. Of course, right now it's just him and Anthony Davis. But there's rumors swirling. I'm not going to address them because I don't think that they're serious at this point.
hmm
But, you know, this is a chance
oh
for
yeah, that
LeBron.
Westbrook might go there.
Yeah, I'm hearing rumors, but again, I don't want to really discuss it here because we don't know the full
Right.
truth behind it. It's kind of a second party, probably a clickbait site at this point. Um, but yeah, so I gotta say, I think LeBron could have a monster year with David Fitzdale on that bench. Again, a familiar face.
No, you know what? I'm gonna say this now. It wouldn't shock me if Dame Dollar shows up on the Lakers because of everything that's gone on with the whole. If they don't want me anymore, I would want to either play for the Lakers or somebody else. So it wouldn't shock me if
Uh,
freaking Damian Lillard somehow found his way on that team or some
hmm.
other team. But
If he
again,
does,
time will tell.
this could be huge. Um,
It'd
this
be
could be
the true
huge.
point guard that they need right now, though.
Yeah, that's true. And again, we'll see, of course, again, as I mentioned when we talked about the Mavericks, we still got quite a few months and a lot to figure out. So this is
Hmm.
honestly, this is going to be a long off season. I'm prepared. Um, but anyway, let's move on to the NHL now. Of course, the Sabres hired the guy I didn't want them to hire. They hired Don Granato as their head coach. As you guys know, Don Granato was the interim head coach. Of course, he had an okay track record, but of course, he was a part of the tied for the longest losing streak in NHL history. He was the coach for that. Um, I got no words. I think this is a bad hire. You know, I know I'm being
Sounds
negative.
like it.
I know I'm being negative Nancy about every single hire lately, but I don't like this one. I like his fast-paced play, but again, I think the Sabres wanted a yes man, so that's why they went with Don.
I don't know what it is about the Gulas and going after guys that are yes men. Not saying that Sean McDermott
No,
for the
McDermott.
Bills is that kind of guy. He certainly isn't.
But let's,
But like he kind of gives off like a little bit of the feel like yes, yes sir, yes ma'am, type of thing.
yeah,
You can't really have that. You gotta have
Southern
somebody that's like,
charm.
look, I know you're the owners, but this is my
Run.
team, the coach.
That's
Let
good
me coach
old.
the team type of
You know what that
deal.
is? I'm sorry, I'm gonna be stereotypical here. That is good old Southern charm, my friend. Come on, McDermott is letting off some good old Southern charm. But hey,
And I'm not just saying this as a guy, but like when I met him, he was a cool, down to earth person.
yeah.
But as far as Sabres, I don't know what it is about it.
Hmm.
They're great football owners, terrible hockey owners.
I don't know, honestly.
It's time to just give up on the Sabres. Delete
Yeah,
your franchise, like we've said multiple
thank
times.
you.
Just delete
Thank
them.
you. Yeah, just delete them at this point. Put it out of its misery. Just sell the team. If they have to move, I hate to see him move, but, this is getting kind of ridiculous at this point. I mean, come on. John Tortorella was available. He's probably the best coach on the market for the NHL. And even worst case, you could have hired him as your president of hockey operations, possibly. You know, there's two options right there you could have hired him for. Why didn't you consider that? Because, again, what the Pagulas want is control. That's what I think it comes down to. They want control. They don't care about success on the field. They want control.
Yeah,
I think that's
I can't
more.
argue with that.
I think that's beyond fair to assume. But we'll see what happens. Tampa Bay wins game one on the other side of things, which is why I'm wearing this. Of course, game two is right after we record. Um, so it was a 5-1 game. Is this what we can expect here? I mean, the Canadians got rocked.
Yeah, I would say so. Sounds like Tampa Bay is in control. They're looking forward, and
Hmm.
then they're looking like they're pushing to be. You said this would be the second year in a row for them.
Yeah, it's second in a row.
So if they were to win it this year, it would be 2 years in a row. It wouldn't shock me. They've been
Mm,
playing really good hockey as of late. So
Vasilevsky's
if
been
there's
lights
any
out.
team to, if there's a team to do it, I think it's them.
Yeah, see, the
But then
keys.
again, who knows?
Yeah,
It's too early to tell.
I still think it's gonna be 6, 7 games. I don't know who's gonna come out with it. I don't want to make that prediction because I don't want to jinx anybody. I think, you know, though what's gonna happen is the Canadians got to figure out how to stop Tampa Bay's hot shooters, and that's not an easy task. Okay, um, they've got to figure out how to stop the sharpshooters of point. You know, Yanni Gord's been shooting pretty well. You got to always you got to stop Steven Stamkos. But on top of it, the power plays. I think that's what it's going to come down to. And the Montreal Canadiens, I believe, had the worst power play of any team in the playoffs entering the Stanley Cup Finals. Okay, compare that to Tampa Bay, who's got the best power play in the playoffs. You can't win if you can't score at the end of the day, and they've got to figure out something to score. I have full confidence in Carey Price. He's had a long-standing reputation as a great goaltender in the game, but the defense has to help him out. That's what it's going to come down to at the end of the day. He can't keep taking I don't know how many shots he took in the last game, but he can't take, 30, 40 shots a game in his direction.
Right.
But with that, let's go to our first break here, and our anchor break. And when we come back, an NFL name is retired. We're going to talk about that, and of course, we got the Nationals and the Home Run Derby. We got to talk about once again. Man, we love the Home Run Derby here, I guess. But we'll have that all coming your way right after the anchor break. Alright, welcome back. Let's get going here. So, of course, now we get to talk about the legendary Bronco that just retired. Demaryius Thomas, he has officially announced his retirement. He will actually retire as a Bronco. Let's be fair. Once Peyton retired, whatever was left of Demaryius Thomas kind of just died off.
Yeah, I would say so. Which is funny because I think his legendary legacy started off with that great catch he had from Tim Tebow, beginning of overtime against the
80
Pittsburgh
yard
Steelers,
touchdown.
where one catch gone, 80 yards, touchdown. That's what started it. Then, of course, Peyton Manning really helped him solidify into one of the top receivers during the time, from when he started to when he left, and then when he left the Broncos, went to the Patriots, he wasn't really the same.
Yeah.
I'm right? Patriots after the Broncos?
I believe so. Let me look it up. But of course, like I
think
said,
it was one other team too.
I think this is a tribute to, of course, how good Peyton Manning was, is that he made Demaryius Thomas as good as, he made him a better receiver, I guess. So he was, I believe, offseason, he was with the Patriots and then he went to the Jets. But of course, before that, he was with the Texans. Yeah, he played 7.
Oh, he was with the Texans?
Yeah, he was traded to the Texans mid-season. Didn't fare too well. Same with the Jets in 2019. But yeah, I just, again, I think this is a tribute to Peyton Manning and how good he made people around him. Because, Demaryius Thomas was, he was known for Tebow Mania that one year. But, he wasn't really an over-the-top wide receiver until Peyton Manning was there. And then past Peyton Manning, he kind of went back to what he was doing beforehand. So,
I'm being almost like a subpar.
I'm being fair. I don't know if his jersey should be retired necessarily. I don't know if he had that kind of legacy. I mean, he had some really good years though. I mean, 1,619 yards in 2014 with 11 touchdowns. He had 14 touchdowns in 2013. But then after that, the numbers kind of declined. I mean, one good season is great, but again, I don't know if he's obviously he did not put up anywhere near Hall of Fame numbers. Um,
No, I don't think so.
but you know, I guess he's just going to be better known as the average wide receiver at the end of the day, and that's sad to say, but pretty much I think that's what he's going to be remembered for.
I think his name will be there for, the Ring of Honor, but that's probably about it.
I could see that.
We've seen some crazier things happen where some guys have gotten in the Hall of Fame, maybe because their seasons have been shortened. And
Yeah,
of course, we know who it was. Calvin Johnson's in there. So
yeah,
if Calvin Johnson's in there, I guess I can't see why Demarius Thomas couldn't be there as well. Like I said, anything
yeah.
is possible.
We'll see.
But you can't just put him in there because of his years with Peyton Manning.
Yeah,
That's just
I think you can attribute most of his success to Peyton. That's more what I was getting at there. Because, I mean, beforehand, he was a good receiver, but he wasn't, anywhere near top five before Peyton got there.
hmm
So, that's more what I was getting at. But anyway, um, you know, I guess moving forward here, um, so the Washington Nationals, we talked about them a few weeks ago. We said how they've got so little room for error, being 9 games back in the division. And they must have watched or listened to our podcast, because right after that, they've just gone on a tear. Okay, they're now, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they are leading their division right now. No, they're 3 games back of the Mets. They're 39-38. They're 8-2 in their last 10. And Kyle Schwarber has hit 18 home runs, or 16 home runs in the last 18 games. I don't know, but I think they listen to
that's
us.
insane. Yeah, because weren't they the team that was like 16 games back from the first, or was
No,
that a different team?
they were 8 or 9 back, I believe, when Strasburg got injured, and we were saying here how they have no room for error now. They have to figure it out or
Right.
something. I believe that was the team we were talking about, and sure enough, they've apparently figured it out. I'd say it's
Yeah,
safe to
for
say so,
now, but
but it's still a long season.
you can't. Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, um, you know, I think a lot can be attributed to Kyle Schwarber, of course. The big news, though, is that he's going to skip the home run derby despite hitting 16 in the last 18 games.
Hmm.
Oh, man. Yeah, so this home run derby is going to be a little lame, I think.
Sounds like it.
And Jason, it's got to be really lame if you invited a Baltimore Oriole to play in it. Sorry, Baltimore fans. So Trey Mancini was invited to the home run derby. He accepted. He's batting .258 right now. It's not terrible. And 14 home runs as of Wednesday. I don't know. I don't.
Crazy.
I think comparing him to, if it was a home run derby with Ohtani, Guerrero, and of course Fernando Tatis, maybe we would have had a good show. But I think with all those guys skipping out, we're going to miss quite a good home run derby that could have been. So,
Yeah. So I would definitely probably agree with that. They should have accepted the offer, and they should have been there. instead of going out of it. Because it
Yeah.
would have been a little bit more competitive instead of having
Mhm.
two guys that
I
deserve to be there and then maybe a bunch of, like,
I don't
I don't know.
I don't want to say it's a gimme for Otani, but it's sure looking right now like he is the clear-cut favorite.
Yeah, because he's leading with, what, 25?
Yeah, last week he was leading with 25, but let's take a look right now. Maybe that has changed. Yeah, no, he's leading with 28 now over Vlad Guerrero Jr., who has 26.
Crazy.
Schwarber's got 25. Now keep in mind, okay, if we had Schwarber, Guerrero, Otani, I'm not saying that Orioles guy couldn't be there. I mean, I'm not saying that Trey Mancini didn't deserve to be there. But maybe if he was, with those three, or even Fernando Tatis as one of them, maybe we could have had a really good derby. But it's going to be that derby where you're just sitting there and you're like, man, this is the one that kind of got away.
Yeah, I would say so.
But, man,
Should have been a little bit more competitive, but
yeah.
you know how that goes.
But hey, we'll see. Man, that's all we got so far. But we do have one more thing for you. As Jason's kind of just sitting there eating his dinner. I gotta call him
Hey, I
out.
can't let it get cold.
Hey, good stuff, right? Nah. But hey,
Oh, yeah.
anyway, we got Tinkle on this. We didn't have much because we're kind of recording 5 days after our last podcast, but we do have one good thing. Montreal Canadiens players, so of course, they're hopping onto the ice after coming out of the locker room to start. Two of their skaters fell on the ice getting out there for warm-ups. I promise you the ice was not rigged. Don't blame the ice for the reason you lost. There's no ice skate here. That's just... I'm sorry, it's just comical at that point. So for that, unfortunately, Canadiens fans, I know it's a great year for you. You're in your first Stanley Cup for 27 years, but tinkle on this, Canadiens. Yeah, and of course, there was another scary thing that happened in that game too. The goalie took a shot to the neck during warm-ups. But thankfully he was okay. Carey Price there. But of course, that's just kind of an unfortunate incident.
Just gotta watch where
This
you're throwing the puck, especially in warm-ups. You shouldn't be going that hard.
that warm-up should be a demonstration of why they should wear bubble wrap during warm-ups. Man, oh man, I mean, I know we're recording before game 2, but knowing our luck, probably someone got their eye poked out during the game. Or during the warm-ups. But hey, I'm just throwing that out there.
God, I would hope not.
We want to... man. But yeah, tinkle on this, Canadians. We want to thank you for watching. Of course, we got a quick programming note. Out of Turn 4 is canceled this week. Coming up, we will be back on July 13th. As you guys are watching or listening to the podcast, if you're listening at started listening at 9 a.m., yeah, I'm probably somewhere on I-90 speeding into Ohio, or I'm at the track in Ohio right now. So that's why we're not doing that show, unfortunately. Probably throwing a few middle fingers and swearing out the window as well. You don't know.
Oh, no, I'm Brian, probably.
I'm not that bad.
He's lying to you guys. He really is.
Oh, man. But, all right. On that note, guys, we want to thank you for watching. We will be back next Sunday, but before we do, I just got to say happy birthday, Jason. I can't exactly...
26?
Yeah, last year I got to say the joke. This year I just got nothing for you. Okay.
You can joke when I get closer to 30, I guess.
Oh, man. But yeah, happy birthday, Jason. Hopefully I'll be back in town in time to celebrate. Who knows?
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. But in the meantime, though, thank you guys for watching again. Be sure to subscribe, check out our social media, and we will be back on Sunday. And I believe that is July 11th. So we'll be back on 7-Eleven Day at 9 a.m. Eastern. We won't have Slurpees, maybe.
Get your Slurpee starting.
Yeah, starting now.
In
Get your
July.
Slurpees.
There.
Get your Slurpees. It's Slurpee month.
They're free all month of July, so go get them.
We're not endorsing 7-Eleven, but come on in, 7-Eleven.
Yes, give us all the
Come
Slurpees
on.
you can.
Give us the
Please.
Slurpees, give us the sponsorship. We'll throw a logo up there for you. So,
Yes.
but alright.
Somehow, somewhere,
Yeah,
we'll
somewhere.
throw a logo wherever we can fit it in our video.
Yeah, but alright. Until then, guys, goodbye, everyone.